goodness, I just noticed this. Got another smoke column to the east. It's times like these I wish Jack was here. He's out on his own fire. He's on a fire, I think, south of Salem, Oregon. We don't hear from him very much because they don't have any internet out there. They're really remote. Oh no! My Ukrainian virtue signal is tangled. There you go. I think of all the human characteristics, the worst is the virtue signaler. They're the type of people that never lend a hand to help anyone, but they want the benefit of everyone knowing or thinking that they're caring and loving and that they're sacrificing for whatever cause it may be. The folks that are actually doing the work and helping, you never hear from them because they work behind the scenes silently. You'll never know that they're the ones helping their neighbor or giving money or time. Be careful. Things are not as they appear. With our equipment prepped, let's hook up our fire skid, get some water in it, fueled up, make sure we're all checked out. Let's check in with our weather. 7 to 4, pretty much the same. Nothing's changed a whole lot. The wind is definitely picking up though. This is a QTAC Fire Skid. This is basically a wildland firefighting pull behind fire engine with the ability to draft out of a water source and with a charged hose reel, and you can just do so much with it. This would be our first line of defense. I'm not going to hook it up right now. We're not in great threat, but I'm going to make sure everything's working. This is what we're going to use if a spot fire is reported, or we hear from our neighbors they've got a fire. You know, if it gets closer, these fires could erupt anywhere because the wind will drive and push little embers and they land on the ground and they can start. The fire will leapfrog ahead of the wind as it pushes it and drives it. So having something like this where you can hit it when it's small is critical. The QTAC 85 holds 85 gallons. This can easily be taken off its trailer, and in 5 minutes, with 2 guys, we can load this in the back of a truck if you don't want to deal with the trailer. 85 gallons doesn't sound like a lot of water if you're talking about structural fire engines, but in a wildland application, that's plenty of water. We just work differently. Check our fuel. When you have a good manservant, rarely do you have to do much when there's an emergency. All right, we are fully primed. The QTAC 85 also has a foam injection system. This is a huge capability right here. Foam is basically soap. And if you've ever seen water skippers, there's something in water called surface tension. A water skipper can sit on top of the water. If you pour soap in that, he will sink. It makes water, makes it wetter. It makes the water less thick, and so that it penetrates deeper into grass and wood and everything, and it really extends your range. So having a foam ejection system like this Scott here is really awesome. Fully charged booster reel, meaning you can pump and roll with this, as well as, if need be, we'll do a full hose lay of 1.5 inches around the structures that we can hook onto and defend every building on here. All right, looks like we are full. These are my appliances. We have in here hoses 1 inch and 1.5 inches for hose lays. Got several, probably a couple thousand feet. And then we have got our toys, sprinklers, all our different gated Ys, appliances, everything that we would need. This is my full kit for home defense right here. With all that sorted, I'll look to my personal gear. I just got an update from Mrs. W. So the sheriff is meeting with the local forest service. We live in the national forest, so real close to it. So we have a ranger station right up the road, talking about evacuation. So I haven't heard anything yet. They're just kind of trying to come up with a plan. I will not evacuate. I will send, if it gets really bad, I will send my family, my wife and kids to a safe place. But the war band and I will stay here and defend our homes. And if the sheriff wants to say something about it, well, he can go pound sand because I'm not moving. This is a line in the sand that I have drawn in my mind a long time ago. Let's go over my personal equipment. I already know it's all checked out, ready to go, but I'll do it for your benefit. It might be of interest to you. If you enjoy this, please take a moment and click the thumbs up. It helps me to gauge the interest. I know this is not everyone's cup of tea. It's a whole lot easier for me not to video this and just to do my work without this, but I know guys like to see this, and this is what I do. It's what my job is, and I feel like it's helpful and it's interesting. It would be interesting to me. So let's dive into the red bag, and I'll show you a little bit about that and go over my pack. This is my U.S. Forest Service red bag. This is what I would have used when I was doing wildland fire professionally. In this bag, you're going to have everything you need to survive for 3 days. You know, every department's a little bit different. That's how I set mine up. It is a purpose-built bag for that, and all your personal, your PPE, your personal protective equipment. It's very specialized is going to be in here. This bottom container, zipper pouch here, is for boots. So I've got my NYX Hot Shots in here, of course. This is probably the last season on these before I have them resold. They're getting a little bit round, a little bit beat up. They'll go longer than that, but it's nice to have fresh soles. They'll rebuild them for about $200, so it's a really good deal. Wool socks, no synthetic, never synthetic with anything. Fire melts polyester, and if you ever get that on your skin, it's terrible. So cotton, mostly cotton for everything, cotton or NYX. This pouch here, I'll put like different accessories in. This is my belt weather kit, which we have out there running right now, so that's empty. And then the main compartment is going to house the bulk of the things. Now, I'm not going to have everything in here, but for what I need around here, you know, I'm not going on a campaign anywhere. I'm not going to have to spend the night. I can, if I need to, if someone calls and say, hey, can you come and help me save my house? Within 15 minutes, I can be loaded up, ready to go. So. Hard hat. This is an accessory bag here, and in my accessory bag, I'm going to have a headlamp. I think the best headlamp I've ever used, and I have several of these, is the Black Diamond. It's the Icon. The Icon has a remote battery pack, and you can put 4 AA's in there. I don't like exotic batteries. On a fire, I try to keep everything AA, and I run lithium. Lithium are great batteries. They're light and they last a long time. So a good headlamp that will go a long ways at night. 2 pair of gloves, heavy duty FSS. These are split leather. These are government issue, really heavy duty gloves. But I don't typically like to work in them. I'd rather have a thinner layer, so I get my own. These are goat skin, more of a lightweight one. But sometimes you need heavy, especially if you're dealing with a lot of hot stuff. This is an old friend, my old John Deere hat. Going to have a NYX shroud. This will Velcro around the inside of the back of the helmet. And when you get close to that fire, it gets very, very hot. And so you can wrap this around and you can protect your face. You can completely shroud yourself with this and protect that skin on your neck. This is something from my structure firefighter days. I used to be a paid career firefighter in Colorado. I was a structure, I was on an engine. I did that for a while and I did not like it. I absolutely hated it. So I quit that, but somehow I ended up with this. It was my old NYX hood from the structure days. And I keep it in there because I've used that before. If you had to get in a bad situation, this would save you, protect you quite a bit. A bandana and a pair of goggles. I keep these, with these also an N95 mask in there. Rarely do I use these. I don't know if I've ever used them, to be honest, but if you get flying embers and it starts getting behind your glasses, it's something you want to have. All of this stuff, I mean, I'm pretty bare bones here. If it's in this bag, it is important to me. I'm not going to have frivolous stuff. I used to do that, not anymore. Pounds, what's the military say? Pounds equal pain. The backbone, of course, you know, your main clothing. These are my NYX pants. Green, thigh zip. These are made by QAC. These are super awesome. These are made of a special material, very thick, very heavy, won't burn. They have thigh zips on them. Thigh zips are incredible. It's like having air conditioning. It is tremendous. And you can zip them up if you get into embers. And of course, just overbuilt, heavy duty. They'll have Velcro ties so you can tie around your boots. So if you can keep stuff from getting out or in them, but just cargo pockets, just a very well-built, heavy-duty pair of purpose-built Wildland firefighting pants. And I'll carry 2 shirts. I don't mind, I've been on fires for up to 21 days. They can keep you on a fire for 2 weeks. They can extend it in an emergency up to 21 days. And that's happened to me one time. I don't mind not having a shower for 21 days, working 16-hour days, provided I can have 2 things: a fresh pair of socks every day, a fresh t-shirt, and that's really my thing. If I can have, and underwear, those 3 things. I don't mind putting on the dirty clothes, but I find that the shirts really take a beating. And I actually got 3 in here. So these are 3 Wildland firefighting specific shirts. Nomex, high collar, you've seen them all. The color, the reason why Wildland firefighters wear the yellow is that this color rarely do you see this in the wilderness, and it really stands out. The very first ones in the Pacific Northwest, they issued bright orange shirts to the firefighters. And they found that that was problematic because it was the same color as the flame. And when you were looking at through aircraft or from long distance, you couldn't identify the firefighters, you couldn't see them. But when you see this yellow and green out there, you can see it a mile away. It really, really stands out in a green forest, that yellow color. That is it for this gear. Now the packs are very specific. These are purpose-built for wildland firefighting. Right? I'm going to go on a limb and say that the very best you can buy is going to be Mystery Ranch. These are all made in the United States. Mystery Ranch is an excellent company. And you'll notice that this pack is different than anything you've probably seen before in that you carry the weight very low on the body. It's got big pouches on the sides. This is for carrying water. It's common to carry 8 ounces, even up to 8 water bottles. 4, 8, I've even seen 16, depending on what you're doing. You go through a tremendous amount of water. But I have a 3-liter Camelback in here that will, fits in a pouch. This is 3 liters, and then you can run the tube up, and then an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, so you could carry 7 liters. You can carry a ton of water. I've always been on an engine, so I rarely carry more than just the bladder bag, but I have it if I need to. Marking tape for marking hazards. This is all, there's all different types, but killer trees, if you come across a snag, one of the things that kills wildland firefighters more than anything are falling snags. When a fire goes through a forest and it burns the trees, even if it doesn't kill them, it really weakens the roots, and then they fall over. When you're out there snagging and working or doing mop-up, you'll hear them coming down. Actually, just yesterday, one of our brothers up in Canada was killed by a falling tree, a wildland firefighter. That was the first I'd heard of the season, and it's something scary. I'll tell you, the only time I ever refused an assignment on a fire was falling snags. I had a division supervisor that wanted me to take my squad in and start snagging some trees, and trees were it was windy, high wind, they were falling down all over the place, and I just refused. There's a process where you can refuse. You don't have to do dangerous things. I'm not averse to taking risks, but I'm not going to go put my guys in harm's way and do something foolish because some guy wants to grandstand. So I told him no, and he got all salty and gave us some crummy assignment somewhere else and apparently brought someone else in. But it's very dangerous, those snags. Another feature of the pack is going to be just pouches. Oh, I know, it's going to be having a fire shelter. A fire shelter is controversial. Some people think it's good, some people think it's bad. Our Australian friends, they know their way around fire. They have a lot of fire. They don't carry them, but the Americans do. And it's basically a big tinfoil bag that you have to be able to rip out and get inside within 60 seconds. My theory on it is, I don't know. Here's the argument, is that some guys say, you trust this too much. This is a false sense of security. I would not want to have a burnover be in a burnover in one of these. And what tends to happen, or what the theory is that guys rely upon this too much, and instead of just keep on going and running and getting away from it, they will stop, throw their gear down, and get in one of these because that's what the training is. So I don't know. You know, it's hard to say. You just never know. But we have to carry them. I have worked with guys in the past that didn't like carrying this big, heavy, multi-pound chunk of thing, because this is the difficult thing of designing wildland firefighter packs is they have to be designed around this. You have to be able to get at it. You know, the firefighter has to be able to get at it with a full pack, and it's very heavy. It's very heavy. It's a very difficult thing to work around. I have worked with guys that have taken this out and kept their lunch in there. Just didn't tell anyone. But if you were to get caught doing that, you'd probably, well, not probably, you would not be invited back to the fire. So I never have done that, but it has crossed my mind, trust me. Flares, fusees, you've all seen it before. Big, heavy risers, very well built. It's made for working. The reason it has this low slung shape, and I'll just close with this, I know we're going a little long here, is because you need to be able to work with it. When you put this on all day long, you know, everybody's going to have a tool, and you're going to be digging, you're going to be working, and to have something that limits your range of motion when you're digging and working, you're bent over and you're working like this all day long, or you're running a saw, like my case, I have a good range of motion. I can work, I can cut, the weight is down low, I can pack a lot of weight, I can carry appliances. That's why they're designed this way. They're unique in that way. I've never seen another pack designed quite like this before. But that is a Mystery Ranch, purpose-built wildland fire pack. Goodness. All right, I'm gonna shut it down and go back over my list, double check everything. Keep an eye on the weather. I'll give you another report as soon as things come up or anything changes. Might even do a live stream if we can. Might even take the old dirt bike and sneak up there this evening and get eyes on it. I know exactly where it is, and I could be up there in about 15 minutes. So we'll see. If I do, I might sneak you up there, but we'll see. We don't want to get in trouble, right? Get into anyone's way. May God bless you and your families. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll see you all on the next video.